Okay, so this is a very small strawberry bed, and I do not eat strawberries, folks. I will eat them if I come across them. I prefer them wild, but my stepdad really likes strawberries, so I planted this small area for him. There are 23, everbearing strawberry plants in here, and I have already separated them, cleaned them up, and put them back in the soil. They thanked me for it. So here is, never let a good stump go to waste, right? So remember, this was a chopping, right? So there was a stump there that was rotting, and it was hollowed in the middle just a little bit, and a lot of good mulch in there. So I threw a strawberry plant right in there, and it's doing wonderful. And I've got blossoms. So there's that. And there's a lot of aged chicken manure in there. So that's good. Now, this here, and I want to remind you of the tarps, right? Why I put the tarps down is because there's clay underneath the tarps, and when it gets wet, clay is very slippery, and I can hurt myself enough without falling on slippery clay, right? So this is that giant teepee, and all it is 3 2x2s tied together with paracord and separated it like into a triangle, and the rest of everything else that are leaning up there are just leaning up on those cross pieces that are screwed there. It's just so simple, folks. It's like, doesn't take any time to make it, and it's something I could do myself without a third hand. Now, Shay thought it would be a good idea, my cousin Shay, if I had netting to help hold the vining plants up, because I'm going to be putting pole beans here and a chocha, right? They're both climbing, so it'll give them a nice head start, and then up above it'll just branch out and they'll cling, right? It's just getting them started up the pole. So this is all dug down here all the way, well, I'm going to say 3/4 the way around, and they're just 2x2s, and there's it looks like an alder pole, and I got another pole on the other side, I think is an old birch one. So, and then again, there's a stump. Now those are walking Egyptian onions. Now I think there's getting too much nitrogen there, folks, and what I did was took this bed here that I'm going to remove that soil, and the other one over there, and what I had done, I took that old compost pile there, and I meant to mix in some aged chicken manure, and I think what I did in my tired state is I dumped it around there and didn't mix it in, so it's getting a little too much nitrogen. But I'm telling you right now, you can't kill those damn things. I've given so many of those away. So, and I've got wild strawberries here everywhere, folks. So there's my compost bin. Now there's another stump there, and that's rotting down. It's feeding the soil there, but what I am going to, and I've got stuff to pick up, folks, that the wind blew, but I've got a bed here that I turned up, and I will be removing that soil as well. Now, in order to access the inside of this teepee, I'm going to have to remove that bed right there, right? And I left this right here open so I could get in there on the inside, and I'll put a chair in there. Okay, now here is an old Hugelkultur bed that I tore apart, and it has a lot of good good mulch in there. It did work, folks. It did work, but the slugs really got after my plants in this bed, because what they would do is they would get underneath where it's cool and moist in the logs and brush, and come out at night. So, and again, I've got stumps everywhere, folks. But that right there is nice dirt. And that bed, I'll be taking some of that soil out when I put together the beds that I just took apart in another part of the garden or outside the garden. And I'll level this off. And the same with this bed here. It's got good dirt. It's got a little mulch in there. There's an old stump. I've got stumps everywhere, folks. Stumps. Now this stump here, but anyway, this is, I dug around this, the whole root system on all the way around, and I'm going to put a little herb garden in here. Right now, the only thing I've got in there is dill, which has not come up yet. A little rain might help, I think. Now, folks, you can make a trellis out of just about anything. That trellis right there was one I threw together, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, out of an old futon frame. And then I just took some wire, zip tied it in the gap, and then took some bale twine and wove it in and out. And that's one of my small trellises. So that works pretty good, folks. That works pretty good. Now my lettuce that I planted is coming along nicely. My carrots are just trying to start to pull up out of the ground right now. But all these is they're tops of 5-gallon buckets, right? So I get 2 containers out of, or 2 pots out of a 5-gallon bucket, and these are used 5-gallon buckets. And so I used the top half to plant in and the bottom half to plant in. Okay, this is one of my garlic beds right there. I plant my garlic in the fall. And right here I have parsnip growing. You know, parsnip takes about 30 days, but I reached down in there a little bit with my finger and I saw sprouting, so that's promising. I like Brussels sprouts too. I like pickled Brussels sprouts, and I really like parsnip. Now this here, folks, is something I threw up real quickly last year with what I had already in the garden. And this here was made for my hops because they were just getting a little bit out of control. And then I just stuck a couple of bird houses up there, but the birds don't utilize these much because when the hops get growing, and for those of you who grow hops, you know how fast they grow and how bushy they get. They just get massive. It just almost completely buries the bird houses. So I've got, let's see, I've got Brewer's Gold planted there. And as you can see, they're spreading here, there, and everywhere out of the bed. And then right here, this one usually doesn't do as good. And this is the Nugget. For some reason, that just has never done well at all. And this one here is the Magnum. It's already starting to climb up. And then over here, I've got Cascade, and then I've got a little bit of a purple violet coming up there. So all I've done here was rake this bed out. I haven't cleaned up last year's vines at all, but I will. That won't take very long. But I haven't done anything but just rake it, and I add a little compost in there. We just need some rain. We just need rain, folks. Okay. Somebody sent me a bunch of seeds. Actually, 2 people sent me seeds. And one person in particular sent me 2 types of cucumbers and, what was it, 3 types of kale. So I did plant the kale, and look at that. Just look at that. They've got to be thinned. That's all right. I can thin them. And so that's a good start right there. Thank you very much. And I just want to say, folks, that if you send me something, and if you want me to share what you sent me, then please tell me that. Now, somebody sent me something, and I asked them if I could show what they sent me, or at least tell what they sent me, and they really, really got offended by that, folks, and then they left my channel. So I'm not really sure. I guess some people are sensitive to that. So unless you specifically ask me to share what you send me, I just want to respect everybody's privacy, I guess. I don't want to offend anybody, folks. And if you send me something and do not say one way or the other, I just do not want to say anything. But if you, like Kimmy, sent me a pump and seal and asked me if I would do a demonstration on that, and I would be very happy to do that, and I will be doing that. So you could be looking forward to that. And I got the geese right beside me, folks. So if you send me something and want me to share it, please specify that you would like me to share that, and I certainly will. I would love to share and tell everything that I get, but I also want, like, again, I want to respect your privacy, okay? Mosquitoes.